Come back, we'll continue this, and then I'll put a call across to Kayode, and we'll be having that conversation as to the federal government's priority list. If you haven't heard what the list is, I have it here, and I'll be listing out the people the federal government says will make up the first priority list to get this 3.9 plus million vaccines that we have just received. And it'd be interesting to hear from you as well what you think concerning the federal government's categorization of priority. Don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment.
Charles! Yes, Mommy? Go and bring 2 sachets of hyper bleach for me. Why 2? Because I'm using one to soak the whites and using one to kill all the germs.
But I can't see any germs here.
They are so tiny you can't see them, but they are there. And that is why I trust only Hyperbleach to kill them all.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your household free of illness causing germs and viruses with the disinfecting power of Hyperbleach.
Uncle Dentist, what be cavities and how Colgate take they protect my teeth from cavities? Say they use comfort?
No, dear. Now, home for teeth they cause most tooth pains will be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, take brush every day. The confirmed formula could help keep natural calcium inside our teeth. We could protect them from tooth decay.
Time don't reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
And the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Introducing the new Hollandia Slim Evaporated Milk. Hollandia Slim Evaporated Milk has all the nourishment of milk with 50% less fat. It is evaporated milk that contains high calcium, 7B vitamins, vitamin D3, phosphorus, and magnesium. It comes in 3-pack sizes, and the 60-gram pack is 50 naira only.
Hollandia Slim Evaporated Milk. All the nourishment of milk. 50% less fat.
Jọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìwọ ni mò ń bá wí. Ìwọ tó fẹ́ràn láti máa fẹ́ bí rẹ ní nǹkan tó dáa jù. Mo mọ̀ wípé ó fẹ́ràn àwòní lórí DSTV decoder bundle yìí. Kàkà ẹgbẹ̀rún 18,600 náírà. O lè ra DSTV HD decoder tuntun pẹ̀lú àkókò ìwòran oṣù kan lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lórí DSTV Confirm fún owó tó kéré bíi ẹgbẹ̀rún 19,100 náírà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó gbọ́ mi dáadáa. Pẹ̀lú àkókò ìwòran oṣù kan lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lórí DSTV Confirm fowó tó kéré bíi ẹgbẹ̀rún 19,100 náírà. Tó bá jẹ́ni tó sábà máa ń fẹ́ kẹ́bí rẹ̀ gbádùn àwọn eré alárinrin, àkókò rẹ̀ rèé. Àǹfààní yìí bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọjọ́ kìíní oṣù kejì. Fúngbà díẹ̀ ni o, ìlànà àtàdéhùn sì wà. DSTV Nàìjíríà, àsìkò rẹ̀ ni.
Amatem soft gel wà fún ìtọ́jú àrùn ibà tí ara rẹ kò bá yá lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ mẹ́ta lọ rí dókítà rẹ.
It's a new day, a new beginning. As you prepare for the day ahead, just anything is not enough for a delightful, healthy start. Start your day right with Hollandia EVAP. Hollandia EVAP. Take green vitamins and nutrients. Life is so different with you. Hollandia EVAP.
Hollandia EVAP milk. Right nutrients for a healthy breakfast.
Capture your world in stunning detail with the new Nokia 5.4. With a powerful 48MP quad camera and advanced video recording, giving you total creative control. Its generous 2-day battery life means your phone is there for you and your family when you need it most. Whether it's for work or play, you can see more on the 6.39 HD Plus screen. Nokia smartphones. Trusted, always secure, and built to last.
1960 bets don't return with big FCO as they don't arrange new management. We don't come back better and stronger. So they pay commission to their agents' bank accounts and winnings to their customers. Sharply. No delay. You fit do football to better games plus live bet jackpot for inside 1960 bets. Visit their website on top www.1960bet.com. 1960 bets. Play and win.
Guy, my current PFA gives me concerns. The last time I got any account statement from them was a year ago. Even their customer service is so poor. They don't respond to email or messages on social media. Wow. Yes, so I can't imagine this type of error I made. And to imagine I'm stuck with them for the rest of my life. I hope I even get paid when I retire.
Nah, you don't need to be at their mercy. Haven't you heard of the transfer window?
Guy, be serious. We are not talking about the Premier League.
This is not about football. The National Pension Commission has launched the RSA transfer system, which means you can now change your preferred PFA.
Really?
Yes, I have ported to ICO Pension. Their service is second to none. They respond promptly to your request and their customers come first. I can ask for a better PFA.
That's it. ICO Pension is the answer. For more information on how you can transfer your pension account to ICO Pension, visit www.icopension.com/switch or call 0700 ICO PFA. ICO Pension. Tomorrow's peace of mind starts with today's plans.
Splash FM 105.5.
Well, you're listening to Splash 105.5 FM. Thank you so much for being there. 24 minutes past 8 o'clock. We've been looking at federal government's plans for the COVID-19 vaccination in Nigeria. Bear in mind that we just got delivery of over 3 million, almost 4 million vaccines just a few hours ago. And the federal government is working hard to see that it begins this process so that we are on the way to gaining herd immunity. And I've been trying to give you some information about the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. The last question I asked before going on that break, which I'm going to provide an answer to, is can it protect against infection transmission? Well, emerging data for the AstraZeneca vaccine in the Lancet preprint magazine revealed that the jab is most likely to block transmission after just a single dose. Researchers derived this data by taking weekly nose swabs from both asymptomatic and symptomatic cases and testing for the presence of the virus. They observed that 67% fall in swabs were positive for the virus after one immunization. No, that didn't make sense. They observed a 67% fall in swabs positive for the virus after one immunization. So that's it. It is likely to up to 67 percentage point that the AstraZeneca vaccine can protect against transmission after just one jab. Now, the storage and distribution of this virus, this vaccine, is one thing that's been of major concern to stakeholders in Nigeria. One key characteristic of this vaccine is that it can be kept at normal refrigerator temperatures of between 2 and 8 degrees Celsius, making it the most suitable for developing countries such as Nigeria. By contrast, however, the Moderna vaccine needs to be stored at minus 20 Celsius, while the Pfizer-BioNTech product must be kept at minus 7 Celsius and needs ultra-modern freezers, which is very costly and in high demand. The AstraZeneca vaccine can be widely distributed with relative ease, which was why COVAX decided that it was the vaccine of choice for low-income countries, poorer countries like Nigeria and other countries in Africa. But now I want us to focus on the specific steps that the federal government has taken so far to ensure distribution of this vaccine. It was reported 3 days ago that the Nigerian government launched the TEACH strategy, that's the TEACH strategy, to ensure the effective rollout of COVID-19 vaccines when they eventually arrive the country. Yeah. So, TEACH is an acronym for a 5-point strategy developed by the vaccination implementing arm of the Federal Ministry of Health. This was according to the Minister of Health, Othage Ohanire. He says T is for traditional method of vaccinating target population using review of available data resources. E is electronic self-registration for health workers and the public, a link which provides an online form which will be filled. A is assisted electronic registration. C is concomitant e-registration during walk into fixed sites or health facilities, while H is house-to-house registration using volunteers for additional push to rapidly increase the e-registration. Mr. Hanire said the launch of Teach and electronic management of immunization data will ensure the smooth rollout of the COVID-19 vaccination campaign across the country. He said the strategy utilizes all the benefits of traditional, electronic, assisted, and concomitant house-to-house registration. Now, what interests me is the different phases that the minister noted that this rollout will take. The first phase of the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine, they say, would target health workers, frontline workers, COVID-19 rapid response team, laboratory network, policemen, petrol station workers, and strategic leaders. The second phase, they say, will target older adults aged 50 years and above. Those with comorbidities aged 18 to 49 years also will be covered in the second phase. And then the third phase are those in states and local government areas with high disease burden and who missed phases 1 or 2. Phase 3, or rather phase 4, is other eligible population as the vaccines become more available. So these are the priority list, if you like, of the federal government. Another publication, has it that the federal government listed frontline health workers, elderly persons with comorbidities, and strategic country leadership. Now, my concern is the strategic country leadership group. There's gotten a lot of people talking. So in this category, federal government says it has to do with the leadership of the country, the president, of course, the vice president, the president of the Senate, the and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, alongside ministers of all ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria across the board. You're also going to have traditional rulers in this category. Religious leaders are also in this category. And yeah, I think that covers it. Yeah, so people have been asking if it is wise to cover all these people, and if it is necessary, given that all we're getting in this first phase is 3.9 million. Is this a good plan to have such a wide cover for, quote, strategic leadership? People who some have argued are not really or shouldn't really be in the priority list, as they do not fall into the category of frontline health workers or people living with comorbidities or people who have to interact, first responders, as the case may be. Which is why in my conversation this morning that I hope to have with Kayode, who I'm trying to get on the line, we will be examining that part of the development. What is the implication of having such a large class of priority list in Nigeria? We've seen how it's been done in other countries, and mostly in those cases, health workers, frontline workers are priority. Yes, the leaders were seen on television being vaccinated, but there was no talk about vaccinating ministers, or commissioners, as the case may be. I've got Kayode on the line. Hi, Kayode. Good morning. Hello? Hello, Kayode. Are you there? Uh-oh. All right. So for some reason, I can't hear Kayode. I'm going to try to call him again and hope that it's better this time around. Because I'm interested in finding out what his position will be as a public affairs analyst that he is. Hello, Kayode. Can you hear me? Hello? Kaidi.
Hello, I can hear you clearly.
Oh, great. Good morning to you. I'm so sorry I had to put you through that. Okay, nice to have you on the line. I'm sure you've been following the program, yeah?
Yes, I have.
Okay, great. So my first question to you is, what do you think about the federal government's plan for the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine, as we've already started having them delivered to us in Nigeria? What do you think of this elaborate plan that it has laid out?
Well, for one, it does make sense to have a plan. It's only natural that if you're going to roll out something that is that stands in the way of us having a dire situation, you should have a plan. The rollout plan did make sense to a great extent. Health workers, I think at some point the police getting on the list. Petrol attendants, I'm a bit. I don't know where that's coming from, but for the fact that in the last few days there have been pockets of queues at some filling stations, notably in Abuja. I also understand there are a couple of queues even in Ibadan, somewhere in some other parts of the southwest. You would understand the kind of rush and the kind of the exposure that attendants will be open to. And I guess for everybody, it was the strategic country leadership list that was
unsettling.
Of worry.
Yes.
And, I think one good place to start is the fact that leadership is important. I mean, without leadership, we would have chaos. I think it's the way we perceive leadership. If leadership worked for you, you would want it to get. You'd want members of leadership to get the vaccines first. I can imagine if there was a security attack in the Washington D.C. area. I think the first thing you would do is evacuate the president of the United States. You understand?
Yeah.
So you would want your leadership, if for anything, to be able to provide leadership. You would want your leaders to be able to provide leadership. So that's the reason why you keep them safe. Now, I see we've received 3.94, I think.
Yes.
Million.
3.94 million doses of the vaccine,
so And where I worry is the fact that 3.94 barely scratches the enormity of the task. And, I think it's part of a 60 million vaccine haul that we should be getting eventually, which also barely scratches. So, there are so many other dynamics that will eventually play out. At some point in time, we were looking towards the Pfizer vaccine, which, by the way, costs like 10 times as much as this AstraZeneca, Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. I think that there were facts being thrown around that would be needing the Moderna vaccine, which also costs many times more. Is the federal government sticking with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine? And the reason why we should be knowing these things now, and that's why, if for any reason we want to keep our leadership safe, so people will be accountable to us. If we were to go down the route of those other vaccines, for all you know, we might be spending as much as a quarter of this year's budget on vaccines alone. A country that has huge infrastructure deficits, that has so many other things pending. So they should come out and tell us, if you are getting, this thing is just part of the COVAX
initiative
to be shared.
Yes.
Initiative to be shared. If these things work, please tell us that we will only be sharing out the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and then we know we'll be saving money. We want accountability. These are the little holes, in leadership that make people say, raise up their noses and say, what leadership?
Do you see the sense in traditional rulers or religious leaders being added in that list? Can you make an argument for why perhaps they were captured as priority?
Traditional leaders, yes, because you need a cohesive force. Let's look at instances of, what was it now? Was it the measles or was it the polio vaccine up north? Remember the government, remember when there were, vaccine officers were being attacked in some parts of the country because they felt that the vaccination, I think for polio, I can't remember what it was, a while back up north, was part of a sinister ploy.
I think that was for polio.
The government had to rely on the traditional leaders to tell the people that, look, these things are safe. And there's still question marks over these vaccines. I have a couple of friends. I know some people that said they won't get this vaccine. And it's because even in international media, even in the international media, they read of, downsides to these vaccines that they don't want to experience. You know? So for these reasons, you need these cohesive central elements that will tell the people, look, I got this, you should get it too.
It's safe.
You understand? Yes. But you see, the only reasons why people are like this every time an issue of leadership comes up is because leadership is not living up to its role. When leadership shows you that, when leadership shows you that it's in the people's best interest,
yes,
people would trust that, look, if you recollect, when the rollout of the vaccines happened in the US, I think Biden, even though he was running for office at the point, got the vaccine before Trump. That was a coup for the Democratic Party. That was showing that, look, in this person, you have a rallying point. And these are things that are important in leadership. So you see, 16 million vaccines that you're expecting eventually, the way people calculate it is, gradually, the numbers of people that are healthline workers and frontline workers that will get it will start reducing, and then families of people in leadership, which, by the way, if these vaccines were to go on sale, can afford to buy these vaccines, will start getting them for free. And the poor and less privileged members of society will not be able to access this vaccine.
All right. The federal government has said clearly that the frontline health workers will be on that list. As a matter of fact, they'll be one of the first. And it has opened a platform, an online platform for people to be able to register and get booked, be given days to come in and get vaccinated. We know how we operate in this country, Kayode. We know how sometimes plans are put in place, but the implementation leaves a lot to be desired. Do you have the confidence that the government is going to be very serious about ensuring